I say, hearing out them points of views when I see it my way. Yes, it goes, yes, it knows, make.
Hello everyone, this is Spitfire coming to you with another one. So I'm going to be talking about Bonjean in this particular video. And one of the reasons why I'm going to talk about Bonjean, because as I speak about Bill Cosby and R. Kelly and so many other men, I often bring up Bonjean's name. And so many people be like, who is she? Who is that? And I'm under the assumption that everyone knows who she is because I'm living in this YouTube world where I'm in a sector that we automatically know. But not knowing or not remembering that everyone doesn't know who she is. Because so many of you ask me, especially over there on the MIB, and especially in an email. So I decided to try my best. You know I can't read that well. But I'm going to do what I can to give you an insight off her website, and you can definitely go read it yourself, who she is. Now, I won't read word for word, but I definitely will give you an insight what she is, what she does, and what she specializes in. Now, there is a legal term called habeas corpus litigation. And I don't know if I'm enunciating it right, but I do know that I did do some research when we were talking about the R. situation, and that came up, and I was telling people that I think that this needs to be in the R. Kelly situation. And many other people were talking about legal terms and words that we have learned during this research on R. Kelly and how, what a lawyer should do and all these type of things. And the infamous definitely did it. Some other people definitely did it. And I definitely did it. But I remember the habeas corpus is something that I definitely spoke about years ago when R. Kelly first was going through his fight with these legal woos, okay? So let's get to it. Jennifer Bonjean is the founder of Bonjean Law Group, okay? She's a seasoned attorney, and she specializes in criminal defense and civil rights litigation. And like I said, habeas corpus litigation. She specializes in appellate court, post-conviction. Her passion and tenacity drives her aggressively to fight for individuals who have been wrongfully convicted in our justice system. Okay, and me on Spitfire, I talk about that all the time to try to bring awareness, okay? I'm not an attorney, but I do know that there is some issues going on in our legal system pertaining to, the Me Too movement and things of that nature that is adding to that. She worked tirelessly to reverse the convictions of innocent people wrongfully incarcerated. She is committed to exposing the rampant police and prosecutorial misconduct that often lead to wrongful convictions. In 2014, the Chicago Innocence Project Award Bonjean the Humanitarian of the Year Award for her work in Stanley Rice appeal. Now, Stanley Rice was a person that was wrongfully convicted and was out on appeal, and Bonjean had her say in that. Now, Bonjean has actually helped a lot of people get an appeal. If you look on her Twitter, she's always talking about, and it's always a new story in the media about someone that she helps got an appeal for. And I think her work is incredible, and a lot of people need to definitely thank a woman attorney that is committed to helping those who are wrongfully convicted. Okay, so she grew up in the suburbs of Indiana. She received a bachelor degree in arts and music. Okay, she went to DePaul University of Chicago. After that, Bonjean attended Manhattan School of Music, where she earned a master's degree in music and opera performance. So she got a degree in music. How ironic is that? Bonjean's life took an unexpected turn when she began volunteering for Women's Services Division of the YWCA in metropolitan Chicago. At the YWCA, Bonjean was a rape crisis counselor and victims' rights advocate and underserved the marginalized women who were victims of sexual assault and domestic violence. In her role as a crisis advocate, Bonjean frequently interacted with prosecutors who interviewed victims and made decisions on whether to charge their offenders. Bonjean dismay at the poor treatment these victims received at the hands of those meant to protect them motivated her to attend law school. So one of the things that when I read that, it brought me closer to who she is, because now she's not a person that's just helping men. She really understands what real victims go through when it comes to sexual assault and things of that nature, as being a counselor working with these type of people. So she decided to go to law school to help these particular people so they can get closure, and that they can get some type of help or conviction or some type of justice of what happened to them. Okay, so it's ironic how this actually turned around. But let's keep it going. Bonjean attended Loyola University, Chicago School of Law. While she was in law school, Bonjean quickly began identifying with the underdog, which is the criminal justice system, is the accused. Although Bonjean initially entered law school intending to become a prosecutor, she soon realized that she was more suited for public defense work. Okay, so she went in to be a prosecutor, but then something told her around and said, hey, you should be doing this, all right? So let's go on. As a second-year law student, Bonjean interned at the Capital Litigation Division of Illinois State Appellate Defender's Office, where she did post-conviction death penalty work. During her third year, she interned at the Trial Division of her Office of Cook County Public Defender. Bonjean graduated law school in 1999, and she worked at the Illinois State Appellate Defender's Office. She handled over 100 appeals involving serious felonies. Shortly after starting at the State Appellate Defenders, Bonjean began receiving letters from Jason Gray, an individual who had been convicted of a triple murder and sentenced to a natural life sentence at the age of 15. Bonjean believed Gray's innocence and championed his case after 10 years. Even after moving to New York City in 2004, Bonjean, persevered her proof Gray's innocent. After 20 years of being unjustly incarcerated, Bonjean eventually won Gray's freedom in 2006. In August of 2007, Bonjean started her own law firm, the Bonjean Law Group. She primarily practiced areas in firms, including section of 1983 civil rights litigation, criminal defense, which she has largely conducted pro bono. Specifically, the criminal defense portion of Bonjean's work focuses on appeals and post-conviction litigation, particularly committed to exonerating those wrongfully convicted. So the fact of the matter is, she was once a person working with victims and realized that there's a bigger and another problem, and she better serves in this area. In 2014, Bonjean will successfully overturn the conviction of no fewer than 13 individuals wrongfully convicted of crimes they did not commit. Bonjean has also successfully tried to settle a 1983 civil rights case totaling over $20 million. Specifically, in 2017, Bonjean obtained the largest settlement in civil rights case in the state of New Jersey in the case of Castellani versus City of Atlantic City, a police brutality, malicious prosecution, and due process case with the Monell claim. The case was settled at $3 million. In 2019, a jury awarded $5.2 million to the plaintiff Stanley Rice, in the matter of Rice versus Byrne, after they found that he has beaten into a confession to a brutal R-word by Area 2 detective. Mr. Rice spent 31 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Bonjean represented Bill Cosby in his appeal before the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. In June 2021, Mr. Cosby's conviction was overturned when the court found that Mr. Cosby's due process rights were violated when non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor meant that Mr. Cosby should not have been charged in the first place. Additionally, in September 2021, BLG client Armando Serrano and his co-defendant Jose Montanez received a $20.5 million settlement after receiving 23 years in prison for crimes they did not commit after being framed by a former Chicago police detective. Bonjean is a member of the New York, New Jersey, and Illinois bar. She has been admitted to practice in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Illinois and the Southern and Eastern District of New York, and the United States District Court of New Jersey, the 2nd, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court of the United States. She argued before the 2nd, 7th, 5th, circuits. Bonjean also is a regular guest on Fox News, CNN, Investigation, Discovery, True TV, and Court TV. So she is not nowhere near an amateur of what it is that we see that she does when she's always posting these releases from prison of many men that has been wrongfully convicted. After this R. Kelly case on the MIB, I cannot wait to start talking about regular men who have been wrongfully convicted, because one of the things that me, Spitting Fire, don't want to do is to make it seem like they're left out in the code. They're not. It's just that this R. Kelly situation is so entangled and so hard that I don't have the area or the resources or the help with either channel to do both. So I have to tackle one thing at a time. And that's what I have to do for me. I don't have a crew of people. I don't have a lot of people like I did when I had my co-host. I don't have that anymore. So it's just me. And so many of you had just recently contacted me and told me you should do shorts. You should do this to grow my channel. And I take that information and I know that already, but you know, I do it what I can, how I can. I move what I can, how I can. Growing my channel is not as important as it is for people just hearing what it is that I have to say. And as long as they're hearing the main message about these men who've been wrongfully convicted, especially over there on the MIB, that's all my concern is. So let's get back to Bonjean and the men who she is now representing. Now, recently over there on the MIB, I had definitely told you guys that Bonjean asked for an extension, and partially that extension was granted. Here, because she had two cases that she had to work on a brief. She had to work on one with R. Kelly and one with Tim Norton. And if you don't know who Tim Norton is, he is Sweetie Pie's son. Yes, she is now the attorney representing Tim Norton in the appeals court. So because she has to work on Tim Norton's brief, she asked that R. Kelly's be extended a little bit more. So if you don't know, Tim Norman was convicted, okay, for murder for hire of his nephew, okay? And he's been sentenced to a federal prison for life, okay? R. Kelly has, and no one, and the nephew is deceased. Now, in the R. Kelly case, he has been sentenced to life, which is 30 years equal to life. And everybody is alive. Everybody trying to get book deals. And he has been a victim of extortion. And it's just crazy that his is just as bad as Timothy's. It's horrible that they're doing these to these men. No wonder she is able to get these people off on appeals, because the justice system is just downright crooked. So let's take a look at the men that Bonjean has helped in the past and is currently helping to set free. especially the celebrities, okay? The celebrities. And I know there's many others that she's working on that are not celebrities. And I hope she get them free as well. Because I have been speaking this from the beginning since I started this. And I'm going back to the root and my passion of releasing the wrongfully convicted. All right? Thank you for tuning in. Let's take a look at who Bonjean is helping.